I want to take a moment tonight to discuss a topic that's probably going to piss a lot of people off. But a lot of us are following the George Zimmerman case, the Zimmerman-Martin case. It really does have an impact on the gun community. I mean, this case has a lot of potential fallout for gun owners in Florida. I mean, if Zimmerman was to get off scot-free, there might be a chance of people going after the stand your ground laws. I'm not saying that he should be found guilty because of that. I'm just saying it does have an effect on gun laws. It does have a potential effect on every gun owner out there. Other than just being maybe a bad representation of gun owners, it could have legal effects on actually the laws in that state and other states. So a lot of us are following it. A lot of us are paying attention. So I want to talk tonight about my feelings about the case so far and maybe find out, what are you feeling so far? Now, I think there's more than one thing here that you need to decide. It's not just a one-issue case. I mean, there are several different things you need to kind of consider. One of the things I consider is, do I think that night, if it wasn't for George Zimmerman's actions, that a 17-year-old child would die? And I know a lot of people say, 17-year-old's not a child. I'm well in my 40s. To me, 17 is a child. I have a 15-year-old. 17 is still a child. So you can quibble over the age all you want. You're never going to convince me that a 17-year-old's an adult. And you won't convince most parents of that either. So do I think that night, if it wasn't for the actions of George Zimmerman, would Trayvon Martin still be alive? I do. I absolutely 100% believe he set in motion things that didn't have to happen, and it cost the life of a teenager. So do I think he's guilty of that? Absolutely. I absolutely think he is. But we have to consider more than just that. We can't just decide, is he responsible for the death? Because, I do believe he's responsible. Not only because he pulled the trigger, but because he set the events in motion. But there's different levels of responsibility. If I am driving my car down the street, I'm delivering cupcakes to the elderly. That's a valiant thing to do. If the cupcakes start to slide off the seat and I'm like, I got to catch those and shove them back on, don't want the elderly people not to get their cupcakes, I lose control of my car for a second, drive up on the sidewalk, strike and kill someone. Am I responsible for that death? Of course I am. But did I have any malice in what I did? No. It was just bad decision on my part. It was just poor judgment on my part that caused that accident. So I'm still responsible, but is it the same level as if I had just tried to run someone down with my car? No, it's not. It's just something that happened because of some bad decisions that I made. And that really becomes relevant when you start talking about what Zimmerman is charged with, and he's charged with murder. Now, there are a lot of things you can ask me about what I think about Zimmerman. Do I think he's a racist? Actually, I probably think he probably is, because, aren't all of us to some level or another? I mean, most of us are. At one level or another, most of us do have some racism that we contend with every day. Doesn't mean we act on it or we think it's a good thing. It's just that it's just in there. It's in us. The way we were raised, especially us older people like myself that were raised in southern states by racist parents. So it's there. So why should he be any different than me? I probably think, probably he's a racist. Is he stupid? Oh, God, yes. I mean, that's the one thing I have been convinced of in this whole trial. It's the one thing that I have no wavering opinion of. Yeah, I am adamant in the fact that I believe this man is a dumb man. Now, dumb's not a crime, and dumb's not even a bad thing. I mean, I know dumb people that are great people, but he's dumb. As far as I'm concerned, this is a dumb man. Now, is he the kind of person who is a weakling, a coward, someone that got their courage from their gun? I'm kind of leaning to that possibility too. Some of the things I've seen in his past, some of the behavior I've seen, he seems like the kind of person that gets a lot of his inner power from his firearm, or from a position he's in, or a feeling of authority, a job of authority. So, but once again, not a crime. So what he is charged with is murder. He's charged with murder, and the one thing that murder requires is intent. And are you going to be able to convince me that when Zimmerman was on the phone with 911, when he was following Martin, even if he followed him to his door, are you going to convince me that Zimmerman ever at any time intended, when he got out of his vehicle, to harm Martin in any way? I don't buy it. I don't buy that he was intending to harm him. I buy that he made some bad decisions. He followed someone he shouldn't have. He followed someone that wasn't doing anything wrong. Now, were his actions justified in following him? No, they weren't. They weren't borne out in hindsight. But you have to remember, like I said in that analogy earlier with the cupcakes in the car, there's a big difference between making a decision, doing something that you think is right, at the time and it being wrong later, and having just malice, having just negative intent. He didn't have any negative intent as far as I'm concerned. I don't consider catching someone you think is doing something wrong malice. I don't think he meant to harm Martin in any way. I don't think you could ever convince me that he was calling 911 because he intended to kill him or even intended to rough him up. And for murder to be relevant charge, there had to be intent, there had to be malice. So I just can't buy that charge. I can't buy it. I just don't buy it any moment. I just can't. I have tried to say, oh yeah, he probably wanted to. I just can't. Can't buy it. Never seen anything to convince me of it. And just as a judge of people, I cannot believe for a moment he wanted to hurt that person. He wanted to hurt Trayvon Martin. And without that malice, all he did was some stupid things that through his negligence put him in a situation where maybe he had to defend himself against someone who attacked him. We don't know if Trayvon attacked him or not, but if Trayvon did, he defended himself. Now, if you initiate a confrontation, do you get to use deadly force? Not by law, you don't. If you initiate the confrontation, you lose your right to deadly force. So that means even if I walk up to someone, start a fight, they pull a gun on me after I start the fight, and then I whip out my gun and shoot them, it's not self-defense anymore, even though they pulled the gun first, because I started it. By law, I'm still going to go to jail. Won't be for murder maybe, but it'll be from negligence. I will probably face some jail time and probably lose some civil suits and everything else. So he did do some things that led to someone dying, and he should be responsible for that. And I believe in Florida, the jury can come back with a lesser charge. The jury can choose lesser charges for him. They can say, no, we do not buy that he's guilty of murder one. We do believe that he's guilty of some negligence and some bad decisions that led to the death of an innocent person. Now, is that best served with, putting him in jail for the rest of his life or anything like that? I don't think it is, because like I said, once again, like my sidewalk scenario earlier with the cupcakes, is putting that person who did that, if I did that, has put me in prison going to make that better? Is it going to solve the problem? Is it even going to teach me a lesson? Because I didn't do anything intentionally bad. Now, there's better ways to deal with people like Zimmerman who do things that are negligent. There's community outreach. There's education programs. There's probation. There's use his mistake to teach others to not make the same mistake and make him do that. Fine his ass. Maybe even a little jail time. He's already done almost a year, so time served. His life is ruined. He's a pariah now. So use him. Make it a positive thing. There's nothing really positive about this situation. I mean, it's a totally bad situation, but try to salvage something positive from it. Don't compound bad things by more bad things by trying to turn someone who's just an idiot who made a mistake, who cost someone their life, into a cold-blooded killer, a premeditated killer, because there is still a difference. So, that's a little long-winded, but that's my opinion of it. I mean, that's just how I see it so far. So if anybody out there thinks I'm stupid, and there's always people in my videos that think I'm stupid, I could just say my name is, and people would contradict me. So if you feel differently, let me know. Maybe you'll convince me of something, but I doubt it, because I'm paying as much attention as I can, but maybe you have a unique perspective. So let's hear what you think. Let's see the comments, and if you've got a video you want to make to link to this one, let's see them. You ain't even my real dad.